We're here in Scottsdale, Arizona doing a one-on-one interview with Jon Ryan. Jon's in town right now doing a one-on-one punting lesson, and we're going to ask him a couple questions here. First question I'd like to ask Jon. Jon, being a young man from Canada and playing high school and college ball in Canada, tell us about your background going from high school to college, playing in the Canadian League, and all the training that you did, hopefully to be an NFL punter.
Yeah, growing up in Canada, hockey is kind of the number one sport, and that's what everyone focuses on. So it was a little bit different that I was, really into football, and I worked hard, and that was my number one love. And I played high school. From there, no U.S. schools came knocking, so I went to Canadian college, played 4 years. From there, played 2 years in the CFL. Coming out of college, it wasn't like some of the guys coming out of college here where they get the combine and get ready for the draft and all that. There wasn't really, no one from the States had really seen me. So it was a bit of a struggle for me to, I knew that if I was going to reach my ultimate goal of playing in the NFL, I had to go through the CFL first. Went to the CFL, played my first year, kind of realized that I had a lot of work to do. Put in hundreds and hundreds of hours punting, lifting, working out, doing all that stuff. Increased my average 7 yards in one season. And my second year in CFL, I broke the record. Had a 50.6 yard average in the season, and had a 42.3 yard net, also a record. From there, a couple NFL teams started to take notice, and got workouts, and ended up signing with the Packers.
So, Jon, what do you think is the biggest difference between playing in the Canadian League and playing in the NFL, as far as maybe the ball and the field, and maybe even the strategy that goes into the punting game?
The game is a little bit different. 3 downs, so you're punting a lot more. The field is wider, 65 yards, with 110 long and 20-yard end zones, and you get a point for a punt through the end zone. So it's a little bit different strategy. Sometimes you want to go for that point. Sometimes you want them pinned deep. Once the ball is snapped, there's 12 guys on the field, so all 11 guys in front of you can take off right away to cover the punt, which is a little bit different, where you only have the flyers in the NFL that can leave until the ball is punt. So there's not as much emphasis on hang time. A little bit more emphasis on direction. Narrowing that big field for the fast returners. So those are probably the biggest differences between the two games.
You just played 2 years with the Packers, and you were just released. I know when you first signed with the team, that's a really high point in your life. But tell the young kids that when that day comes, how does it actually happen, and what were your thoughts when they came and actually told you you're no longer a Green Bay Packer?
Playing professional football, you always know that sometimes it's week to week, sometimes it's day to day. You don't know what's going to happen. I didn't really expect it to get cut, but it's something that happened. And I got the call in the morning, and as soon as those pro personnel guys call you, you know what's coming. And it's one of those things you just have to take it in and learn from it. If I go through this experience and don't learn anything from it, it's really a waste, and I'm not going to improve myself. So learning from this, and that's a big reason why I came out here to work with yourself, is I feel like I can really improve my punting game now. And the more I work on it, I'm going to look back at this someday, hopefully, and say it was a turning point in my career, rather than maybe the end of my career or going downhill in my career.
Okay, in the last 2 days we've been doing a one-on-one punting lesson. What's probably the biggest things that you took from the lessons, as far as drills or information that you learned in the last 2 days?
Probably the one-step drill, the progression. Really that really breaks down the punting form into stages and steps. And I feel like if I continue to work on that and continue to work on each step in that I'll become a more consistent and more accurate and a better punter.
Jon, what advice could you give to any young punters that want to get into the NFL, as far as going to kicking camps or training, or any advice that you can give them so that they have a chance to get to the NFL?
think it's like any other position. You gotta work hard. You gotta put in your time on the field and in the weight room. I think some people think just because we're kickers, we don't work as hard as a running back or a quarterback, and that's totally fictional. Because to get to the highest level, you gotta work hard. Put in your hours, as well as getting some extra help from instructor like yourself, a coach like yourself is definitely helpful. And there's so many young players out there that play even high school, even college, and they have a coach that is not familiar with the kicking game and cannot help them as much as they'd like to. So that's why it's very important to get a little bit of extra coaching in the summer before you go back to your team and even in the off season.
Okay. And my last question now that you're a free agent, naturally you're hoping that you're going to have some workouts here in the future. But really, what is going to be your training schedule, and what do you do now as you're waiting for a team to call?
I think most teams work guys out on Tuesdays. So I'm going to just approach every week as if Tuesday was Sunday. Go through the same thing that I go through in a normal week, and prepare myself to punt on Tuesday as if it was a Sunday, and go into the workouts as if they were games. So really, I'm just going to work just as hard as I would during the regular season, put in my hours in the weight room and on the field.
I want to thank Jon Ryan here for doing this one-on-one interview here in Scottsdale, and I wish him the best of luck in the future here, and appreciate it.
All right, thank you.